Hello everyone. Today we, as the students of class 9C, are going to present the causes of carbon footprint in our school and how we, as the students, can prevent it. You have been probably hearing about climate change and how you should reduce carbon footprint. But what is that exactly? Just like an actual footprint, it's a mark you leave upon the environment. No, not with your shoes, but with your every action that causes carbon emissions. Everyone and everything has a carbon footprint, no matter how large. And the objective is to reduce as much as possible. And for students, the main perpetrators are schools. You heard me? Did you know that the school facilitates around the world emits about 72 million metric tons of carbon dioxide each year? That's an unimaginably large number, larger than some third world countries. Hence, we, as the students of 9C, have thought of some of the effective ways to control the carbon emissions of Manipal School. But first of all, let's discuss the causes of the carbon dioxide emissions of the school.
Firstly, public transport. Transport is one of the most prominent ways of carbon pollution, especially since it burns most of the world's petroleum. This creates air pollution, including nitrous oxide and particles, and is a significant contributor to the greenhouse effect, and in turn, global warming and climate change. A great solution is hydrogen fuel. Hydrogen fuel does not produce any CO2 emissions during operation, even if their production is not necessarily carbon free. This gives them a firm advantage over combustion engine vehicles, especially since, in the next few years, hydrogen fuel cars will be considerably cheaper. The refueling process for hydrogen fuel cells is easy as well and takes about 3 minutes, compared to the longer and more complex process of changing out a large heavy lead acid battery when it needs to be charged. In comparison to refueling a propane-powered forklift, the hydrogen fuel cell refueling process has an advantage. Another positive point is that since energy density of hydrogen fuel cells is very high, hydrogen power equipment can operate for longer times with less frequent refueling than a propane cylinder. Hydrogen fuel and lithium-ion battery, the energy density are very similar, making them a great choice for busy operations who need equipment that can last for a longer period of time.
So what is our answer to carbon emissions? We still have to keep using our vehicles, we still have to keep using electricity. So according to us, the only option is hydrogen fuels. Now why are hydrogen fuel cells or hydrogen fuel better than the normal cells that we are using? So the normal car batteries, for example, they are charged by external electricity source. So any electric vehicle that is existing now has to be charged using an external electricity source, which is generated in a traditional manner, which again produces carbon. But if we are talking about hydrogen fuel cells, they power themselves, means the electricity needed for the battery is produced inside the battery. Now let me tell you how are hydrogen cells better than the other cells or the other source of electricity. So when you burn hydrogen, in the presence of oxygen, which is basically what happens at the end, the only byproduct that we get is water. So the only byproduct that we get is water, which is pretty harmless. But if you think of any other electricity source, what happens is carbon plus oxygen, which gives carbon dioxide. So if we want to put an end to our carbon emissions or reduce it to an extent, we must shift to hydrogen cells, which can happen in the near future.
Now, private vehicles. Most of us come to school by private vehicles, which produces a high amount of carbon dioxide. This can be reduced. The school provides students with energy efficient cycles or bikes. An example could be bicycles, bikes, battery operated bikes, etc. A battery operated bicycle runs on the energy provided by the battery. In this way, it won't be too tiring either to cycle to school. Even a perfectly normal bike will function just as well, if not better, than the battery operated ones. Those who live close to the campus can cycle to school. This will also contribute to providing solutions for many problems like Improving physical health. Some people may think that because the bike is electric and takes less effort to ride, that it's not really exercise. However, an electric bike still requires a fair amount of effort to ride. The exercise is incredibly helpful to the body and will help maintain a physically healthy body and to gain some more stamina. Easier to ride. Pedal assist gives riders a boost, which enables them to ride even longer distances with the same energy. This will let more and more students have the opportunity to cycle to school. Thirdly, better mental health. As we all know, a physically healthy body is a key to a healthy mental state. Cycling and biking will definitely help the mental status of any students.
Next, lighting. According to the climate group, lighting is responsible for 6% of global carbon dioxide emissions. To reduce this, we can use solar powered lights and fans. Solar light is absolutely pollution free and doesn't produce any toxic or harmful gases, excluding the production and installation process, which makes it a worthy choice to use. Solar energy is a renewable power source that is available for almost every day of the year, even when it is cloudy. So that means you can use solar lights anytime, despite the times when the weather is not supportive. One of the best reasons to use these lights is the reduction in the sky high bills. They also require very low maintenance charges, which lead to more savings. Solar lighting are also available in wide range of styles to choose from. The choices are great and there is no doubt that you will eventually find an option that will suit your expectation and needs. To improve the carbon footprint in your school building and but not spend too much money, you can make use of a motion sensor lighting. This can effectively reduce the electrical energy used by lighting.
Fourth, soil. Drainage reduces soil water content but increases carbon dioxide production. So it's important to find the optimum drainage level that minimizes carbon dioxide emissions without affecting the use or function in a large way. To control this, we can install subsurface tile drains. Tile drains are sections of perforated pipe buried 12 to 18 inches below the soil surface. This will provide heavy aeration to the soil. Install vertical drains in tree and shrub planting holes. Plant in raised soil beds. Mix layers of soil. Now let's talk about some other easier ways to control carbon footprint in schools.
Go with the greener alternatives. If you would like to reduce the carbon footprint in schools, then checking and making a review of the school's purchases becomes quite imperative. You need to check what the school needs and weigh the available options and suppliers, as there will always be an efficient alternative. Take paper consumption for instance. If the school is conscious about the effect it creates in the environment, then the school can take actions to use less paper and recycle them afterwards.
Run an eco-friendlier school system. An eco-friendly school system can be established if certain things are taken into consideration. This can be done by encouraging students and even teachers and staff to walk or cycle to or from school, if possible, instead of driving. Carbon footprints can be reduced if walking buses can be organized and introduced by the staff or committee.
Get students to be involved by doing workshops and raising awareness among peers. One of the many methods of reducing carbon footprints in schools is to educate more students to become more conscious about our planet. They are young and they have ambitions, dreams, and enthusiasm for a bright future. The best act is to get them involved and work together on the great cause of saving the planet. They can be involved in sustainable workshops where they participate in environmentally friendly projects within the school. They can learn how to read energy meters, monitors, and report energy consumption while setting targets towards reducing the rate of energy consumption.
Make new connections and networks. Many times, when you first start out working towards a big cause, it can seem a little bit scary and lonely at the beginning. So, make connections, create networks, and find people that can be a part of your great cause of saving the one and only planet. The change starts with one single step and it spreads forward. Reach out to and connect with other schools and environmental organizations and use the power of unity to influence local authorities to contribute to your fight against climate change. Make compost trash cans for organic matter. When you make a bin for organic material, that can be converted into compost or decomposed material. This can be put into good use on your school garden. You can also purchase it from various stores with garden supplies. Recycle more. Recycling is a very important aspect of reducing carbon footprints in school. Teach your students on how to separate waste. This could be very helpful as a significant amount of things they use can actually be recycled. In fact, to make it more fun, you can plan a trip together with the children to a local recycling center, as this would provide them with the opportunity of seeing how a lot of waste end up in landfills. You can also show them a documentary on how unrecycled materials are harming the environment.
In your opinion, does the school produce a large amount of carbon dioxide?
In my opinion, our school produces some amount of carbon dioxide. We have more than 10 school buses, and many parents pick and drop their children by their own vehicles. Our staff members also use a lot of two-wheelers as well as four-wheelers. Many companies supply their goods by their own vehicles, and cafeteria food also arrives at school cafeteria by a different vehicle. The simple solution for this problem can be carpooling. Many students and staff members can come by the same vehicle to reduce the amount of carbon emission. The roads can be beautified so that students as well as staff members feel like using bicycles or coming to school by walk. Thank God we do not use a lot of heaters or air conditioners at our school, which reduces in the amount of carbon dioxide emission.
Do you follow the 5 R's in your daily life?
I refuse single-use plastic. If a synthetic material has to be used, I'll ensure that it is used multiple times.
I have started a scrap bin for material offcuts. I store received materials and adapt them for future use. Also, I repurpose our packaging materials for regular packaging use.
Whenever I go shopping, I remember to take a cloth bag with me.
I refuse single-use plastic. If a synthetic material should be used, I make sure it's reused multiple times. The best use of recycling plastic which I follow is making a plastic bottle planter. Easy and quick.
As our class teacher, how do you feel on the fact that your students are helping against the carbon pollution from our school?
I really feel proud to hear from my students that they are thinking so much about reducing the carbon footprint and also suggesting varied ideas. I'm really blessed to have them as my students. I wish you good luck.
We all should try our best to reduce carbon emission and collectively work towards achieving a pollution-free environment. So here we come to the end of our documentary. We, the students of 9C, promise to educate the people and the community around us to reduce the carbon footprint as much as possible. Remember, global warming is something that each and every one of us will feel the effects of. So let's start working and enacting effective solution from now. I hope this video was really helpful and I hope everyone enjoyed this thoroughly. This is class 9C signing off.